5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. And hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Grace, and together
we are
California Travel Videos.
Woohoo! And beyond.
I apologize. We had just a little bit of a snafu at the beginning of the show, but we've got that taken care of. So, hello. It's so good to see. I see Tim, and I see, okay, help me now with this. Layla Lamiria. Welcome.
Oh, I like that name. That sounds exotic, doesn't it? And
Morocco.
Who's here first? Rose Biss. Like in Bliss.
Here.
Rose Biss.
So
good to have you.
Seriously, that's great you're here from Morocco, because that is huge on people's bucket list. So you can tell us more.
Yeah, Tim is saying there are those buckets that I was missing. Yes. I won't ask what you use your biscuits your buckets for either. I think we know though, Tim. That's
Hello,
funny.
Sue. And speaking of Sue, we got a shout out for our mods, but I want to share with you a little bit about tonight's show. We're going to be talking about our bucket list and what's in your bucket list. Also, we're going to talk about what does it mean, where did it come from, and specifically, how does it relate now to travel?
Wow, Tim, thank you for the 10 buckets. Very nice. Just give them a big California Travel Videos. Woohoo! Grace says, yeah, you rock, baby. Kaliki says, howdy. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, man.
Thank you,
You
Tim.
rock.
That was very nice.
And Lemire is here. Howdy. Captain Jack. Hope you guys enjoyed his show. Always awesome. And so, hey, Captain Jack. He was turning the other cheek there at M21, I guess, as was Tim and many others. If you were there at M21, let us know. We'd love to kind of give you a shout out. Anybody else that we might have missed? And so, man, let's see. Where do we start, honey? Maybe the origin of how we got this show. It was your idea.
Okay.
Surround yourself with good people. Stay out of their way. Grace, you came up with the idea. How did you come up with the show format for today?
Okay, well, first, I do want to take a moment and thank our moderators and give them a special shout out. Also, if you would like to put your links into the comment section, we'd love that. As well as if you haven't yet subscribed, please do and hit that bell and you'll be reminded when we are live, as well as when we have some new videos out. So bucket list, Michael, you wanted to know where I got my inspiration.
Yes, ma'am.
I think by scrolling through my own, it's listed under places I want to go. And I get inspired by a lot of other YouTubers, as well as blogs and magazines. Anytime I see something I like, and I started thinking, where do other people get it? Yeah, but this was the part that was amazing.
Captain Jack says, I left cheek when I was a bucket at M21.
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know if I want to
Penny.
know what's
Yay, Penny. Good to have you here.
Hi.
Penny is with us.
Always good to see
Van
our
City
Penny.
Adventure, Daryl up there in the good Canadian country. We always enjoy having him come by. And Mama, hello. So good to have you here today. And hope life's going well up on the other side. I think you're starting to let people in just a little bit, a wee little bit from the what would you say? What would you call us? The people down yonder down south there with the bugs. Hopefully we're
Right.
getting less of those down here.
From Canada. And Penny says, Pam says her bucket list is definitely going to Hobbiton, New Zealand. And you know what, Penny? That's interesting because we're going to talk more about New Zealand coming up.
Yes, we will.
So, yeah, I was looking today on the origins of bucket list and serious mind blow, okay? Because I really, really feel as though I have had a bucket list my entire life. I have been putting things in my someday bucket list. And when I went to go look for the origin, I expected something from the turn of the century, some type of an example. Where do you think that the bucket list originates?
In fact, you asked me on a related note about a month ago, before you even came up with the genesis of this idea, is that, Michael, where do you want to go? What's on your bucket list? And I was like, wow. When I was a guest lecturer on a cruise ship, I got to see so much of the world. And I guess she means from an RVer's perspective, mostly in the United States. And I didn't really, off the tip of my tongue, I didn't have one at that time. I thought, that's a good question. I guess since then, you thought, hey, let's make a show about that, didn't you?
I did, and I've been putting out a couple of surveys as to where do you get your bucket list. But here's the part that blew my mind is apparently the term bucket list was popularized in 2007 from the movie of the
Wait, 2007? That's only 14 years ago?
Yeah, 14 years ago. So
gotta be more than that.
You know what? That's what I'm saying. I can remember. Okay, so I literally did a dive in deep looking for the term bucket list prior to 2007, and I found nothing. If you guys have something, put it in the comments. Go ahead and leave me a comment after, because I sure would like to know.
My bucket's empty, honey.
Well, first of all, the definition of a bucket list is a number of experiences or achievements that a person hopes to accomplish during their lifetime. Okay, that's the definition.
Experience, achievements, lifetime. Got it.
Correct. But even in the deep dive, the only reference I can find was from, let me look at that information real quick.
From a movie.
No. This was prior to 2007. In Google Books, I found tips from an aspiring travel writer. The term bucket list used in 2000, and he was talking about writing, and he used it in the same reference I'm familiar with it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so if you have an earlier experience, I'd love it. Oh, Sue says the Holland Tulip Festival would be fun. I agree with that.
Wow.
Now,
I like the way you think. Right.
Yes.
Good,
and
Sue.
I actually have one here on mine in Oregon, I believe, or Washington. There is a tulip festival in our states here. I'm sure it probably wouldn't be like Holland, but
honey, I think there's one down by Santa Cruz.
A tulip festival?
I guess I'd call it a festival, but it's a very popular spot to go. And my now 94-year-old mother, I think she was, probably about 7-8 years ago. Maybe it was BG, before Grace. I'm not sure. It goes back over 10 years ago. But they have these day trippers, they call it. Sounds like a song, but it's a Greyhound bus type you go on, like the Prevost type of things. And yeah, they took us down to Santa Cruz, and we spent an afternoon down there. They wine and dine you. And they had a lot of tulips down there.
Well, we'll have to look into that further. It's closer than Oregon and Washington, but that one looked really cool. And Rose says, I went to the Tulip Festival in Holland, Michigan, It was a whole village set up, just like Holland. Yeah. So,
sounds like solving.
so termed bucket list from the movie
Yes.
Bucket List.
From the movie Bucket List.
Which
Yes.
I want to.
Who was in it?
It is Samuel Jackson. No, not Samuel Jackson.
No.
Give me just a sec.
Jack.
Morgan Freeman, and Jack Nicholson.
Right.
And the theme of the movie is these two guys are diagnosed with cancer and are given so long to live. And they decide to travel the world, marking off their bucket list. It looks like a fantastic movie. I have a vague recollection that I probably saw it once, but I think Michael and I need to watch it again. Yeah. So my question is for you guys is, do you think that having a bucket list is a good thing? And besides, we'd love to hear what's on your bucket list as well. Michael?
Yes. Well, the bucket list. I guess that I don't like to think is that, oh, there's any one or two types of things. I mean, certainly we're looking forward to getting more, what would you call it, away from the populace. And so Bureau of Land Management property, when in fact, the Army Corps of Engineers would be a good example when we were on our last trip. And it was just, there's so much water around there. It was, big rivers like the Columbia River and the Rogue River. What was the other one that interfaced with Mississippi? I think I forget what it was, but at any rate, that was one that. What's that?
The Mississippi and the Rogue.
I think it was, before it started heading towards Oregon. So at any rate, some of those you just, when you start to get close and like we have, today is what, 10-2. Tomorrow is 10-3 and 10-4. What happens on 10-4, Grace? Come on. Our anniversary.
Yes.
So,
and we've got a getaway trip planned. Not a big one, but a little one. And hopefully by then my neck will feel better and I can actually turn my head.
Yeah. Lake Sonoma, though. I mean, it's one that, we thought, well, someday we would like to go. And so we thought, let's see if we can make it happen. Unfortunately, if you are retirees, you can go out on a Sunday and come back on a Tuesday. It's like, we were able to get in right away. But, it's like interesting how you may have a bucket list item and you think, well, oh, here's how I envision it. And then, God's got different ideas. And so it's been in the mid 70s for the last week. It's been beautiful. And today the temperature is what, in the 90s, 93 or something like that. It's like, we have our Indian summers in October. It's not a big surprise. So rather than going on our e-bikes, we thought, well, how about we just take the kayak and go on Lake Sonoma?
Right. And we also are in the midst of fire season. So, I see that Tim, a.k.a. Mo Bang for your bucks. He says,
Mo Bang for your buck. Great site.
Goals. And I noticed on Instagram that he had several pictures with the state capitals. So I think that going to every state capital is high on his bucket list. So you can tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong on that.
I'd love to hear more on that.
But I do have a question for everyone. So we've learned now that bucket list was popularized in 2007. So my question to you is, what did we call our goals in the list prior to 2007? I mean, I seriously always thought it was a bucket list my whole life. But I obviously I'm wrong because it didn't.
So we didn't use that terminology back then anyway.
Rose says, my bucket list was formed by my husband and myself. He wanted to do it. We never did. And then he passed away. So now it's on my bucket list. You're right. We definitely don't want to wait until, we can no longer do these things. Now is always the time.
Yeah, and earlier I noticed this one. Thank you for that. Oops, somebody clicked a different one there. Here it was from Chiwat Lila, and says, I have as a channel for Moroccan and Failud cooking. And boy, you should get together with Fordman, aka Kenny, who loves to do things on eating. You guys would be a perfect match. These days, I can't cook Sia. My father passed away. May God have mercy on him. So, bless you and thank you for sharing that with us. Is that, yeah, for those of us who have lost loved ones, we do have those memories. And I guess that's part of where the bucket list comes from. So when you start to identify with your morality or mortality, I should say, and you get that's funny. Where did I get morality? Maybe, yeah, as you get older, your morals change. I don't know. Your mortality. And you say, that's right. I want to do things now, and self-actualize. And so I thought I liked Captain Jack there. I like it when I grow up, what I want to be. But no, you said something, Captain Jack, that I hadn't thought about it. But here he says, next weekend, Holland, another festival, tulips and so on. But what it reminded me of is that, Captain Jack and Tim and they went to M21 up in Michigan. And in a week or so, it's going to be at Mayberry, up in North Carolina. And so in a way, I mean, when we go in January to Quartzsite Q22, I guess we'll call it, and we're looking forward to going to the meetup there with Box Fan D and some of the other boys and girls. I don't know if some of the people we've seen in previous years, we hope a lot are going to be there. But, it's kind of like, so it doesn't have to be for places. Some of you talked about with people. Right. And I think that's really cool too. If it's kind of like a family reunion type of thing. A lot of things, we have our childhood memories, right? Grace, you wanted to, when we went around the United States in 90 days, you wanted to spend at least 2 weeks in one place. And where was that?
In upstate New York. But I also wanted to go see Johnny Appleseed's grave. That was important. That was on my bucket list.
And was it by Cleveland?
It was in Ohio by, not by Cleveland, it
was by actually a military fort. I recall that. But anyway, that was one place you wanted to go along the way. So it's funny how some of the things we discover, had we not gone on that trip, we wouldn't have known about a thing that we found out. And this might have been part of the genesis for Grace. When people were saying, if you're bike riders and you like to go through tunnels, our last 2 videos were on this very thing, wasn't it? Grace, share with them a little bit about the bucket list for all bike riders.
The Hiawatha Trail. And we have those
Hiawatha Trail.
We have those videos up. I kind of was distracted because now I'm determined to find which city it was in. But anyway, I will continue to look for that. And I do want to point out that Panda Fam said what I called my bucket list before 2007 was my baby milestones list.
That is cute. That is funny. Baby ones.
And a little
and James Cantonese is here too. And James, I hope your health is better, but good to have you here. And back to Panda Fam, that is so good. You were going to say something else on that, honey?
Oh, I was just going to point out that Sue definitely nailed it. That was a word that we use, dream vacation. And I had asked you earlier regarding, is having a bucket list a good thing? And specifically to the Fort Wayne, Indiana. Thank you, Sue.
Bingo. Thank you, Sue.
I got people.
Wait a second. Here we go.
Oh, nailed it.
I got peeps. Okay, I got people. So
thank you. You've got your peeps that are there.
Regarding having
Captain Jack is talking about Sturgis.
Oh yeah, a lot
different type of bike ride for the big bikes.
Yeah. So regarding, is it a good idea? And I was going to talk a little on projecting, and I watched a movie close to the 2007 time period called The Secret, and it's almost where you get this visualization and you see yourself somewhere. or you see something happen, like I wanted a kitchen and I wanted these specific cabinets and these specific drawers. And a few years later, I found this binder I had with pictures of my kitchen. And I realized that I had almost everything I had put in that book already now. So it's how manifestation. So the quote says, creating a bucket list can be inspirational. While you may not want to complete every item on your list, you will likely complete some and get more out of your life than if you had not created a list. These are the experiences you may remember for the rest of your life that may change who you are in a positive way.
I like that a lot.
That scares me. Okay.
Well, yeah, I know I'm kind of, that was like heavy. I want to get back to that, but hey, look who's here. Speaking of people in M21, Michigan, I wonder if the Northwoods, our friends there, Corey and Lori, I wonder if they went because, I guess that some people have smaller buckets. This is it's a bigger than us by a good bit in their YouTube bucket. But this is their Facebook bucket. It's huge with all their Blackstone griddle types of people there. And they would like to take some of those 100,000+ and get a bigger YouTube bucket. I know that's what you want to do. And we're all in. So if you haven't been to their site or their live streams on Thursday, be sure to check them out. So Corey and Lori, good to have you here. But so our bucket lists do kind of change over time, don't they, darling?
Oh, definitely. And we're always updating them and we're always adding things to the list. Hi, Land Cloud. It sounds like a lot of people were at M21. And Captain Jack was saying on his show that it sounds as though they're starting preparations already for M22. So we're going to have to make that happen. Gina, are you going on live tonight? Because if you are, I will put it on the streamer. Hello and welcome.
Yeah,
Linda's
she's doing a lot of grandchild duty. Mm-hmm.
Linda's here, and she was at M21. So not just content creators, but a lot of our friends who are so encouraging and always with us were with us.
Yeah, she barked it up good, didn't she?
Exactly. So we're going to have to make that happen. I know we've got a couple of different meetup groups, and that could be on your bucket list, a meetup group.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there is actually the meetup.com where people can form groups. I want to get back to that one for Corey and Lori, is that we started seeking more adventure after my parents passed. But after the last year, yes, Corey did have a bad scare there. And thank goodness with modern medicine, it was a long time getting his recovery, but it changed the outlook on a much deeper personal level. Like, I think that those of us like myself and Corey, and maybe some of you out there, is that, you feel you're like giving a good service to other people. He's in the service industry and as a computer technocrat. And so the hours are long, but you feel like the reward is there, that you're doing good things. And at some point, when you start to have health issues, is you start to say, whoa, wait a second, time out. I need more time to kind of do things with family, loved ones. And so, yeah, it's tough when our parents have passed and we start to realize our vulnerability. Just one quickie, and I'll get back to you, honey, is that when I was in my 20s, there was a class I took with my employer, AT&T, called Managing Personal Growth. It was actually the better part of a week. I'm surprised they let us go to a class that long, but I guess they wanted to invest in us to say, how do you want to invest in yourself personally? And the Managing Personal Growth, part of it was you have a list of 50 things that you have to pick the top 25 and then the top 10 and then the top 5. It's maddening because at some point, it's like, well, my health isn't a big deal. That's not one of my top 50 at all. And then you start to realize, well, family, that's pretty important. So, you kind of rank these, and it's kind of interesting how whatever that list is, it will change as you start to get older, and things like health are a biggie, aren't they?
Definitely. I think we've all, as we come closer to experiences, change.
Who's this guy with the dog?
Michael, you and I are having a comment war, it looks like.
Yes,
go
for it, honey.
Right when I click on one, you click on one. So it's a comment war.
Okay.
So,
Go.
you know, Sue is like right on the money because she says it sounds like my book was a vision board, and that sounds familiar as well. It doesn't sound as familiar as bucket list, but vision board definitely sounds familiar.
But this fella here, I mean, he decided to retire early, like I did for different reasons. But Nate, Land Cloud Adventures, has decided he was going to get out on the road. And here he hadn't really RV'd before that. He, you know, bought himself a trailer. He's got these white fluffy dogs and said, "Hey, come on in, boys." And, you know, that was kind of a leap off into the abyss, you know. It's like, but I'm sure that as he's gone through it, you know, some things like, oh, like that, huh? And others like, wow, this is so much more. And certainly he's a people person. So Nate, that is so cool that you, when doing one of your bucket list items right now, I think.
Right. He's out there. He's on the road and he is chasing the Northern Lights. So he had a really good possibility recently.
Don't go there. Do not go there.
It's on his.
It's on my bucket list. It really is.
Oh, it's been on my bucket
Doggone it.
Yeah, the whole thing with the Northern Lights, that's been on my bucket list way before 2007 coin bucket list. That's been on my bucket list since like 1995. Yeah,
definitely.
Remember I told you about the story? I had a friend living in Alaska, and she would house sit at a hotel in the wintertime, stocked with food in the kitchen, kind of like what was the red rum? Hello, I'm back. Anyway, The Shining. So
The Shining. Yeah. Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny, exactly. I was supposed to go with the best friend of mine and see the Northern Lights and spend, you know, a week or two up there. And then unfortunately, you know, single mom, 3 kids, I wasn't able to make that trip, but it's been on my bucket list since 1995.
How about that? Yeah, that's an awesome one. But yeah, when Nate was like, "Oh, I'm getting up to the northern part of the United States. Maybe I can get to Canada, maybe not." But you know, in the solar index, which is a factor of the Northern Lights, got up to 6 the other day. I was like, my fingers were crossed for you, but I know it's going to happen. Some things you have to wait a little bit longer, right? We don't get instant gratification. And so what else do we have out there? I'm sure it looks more like a 55-gallon barrel, says Captain Jack. Well, you've got a big trailer, you know. I know you don't take it with you all the time. Yeah, that's a big bucket.
So, the Northwoods say, I'm not sure if I think it's Lori. Is it Lori or Corey?
Well, Corey, they're talking about his health, and then Lori, his wife. Is that maybe hers? What does it say?
Okay.
Will
My
never
bucket
end.
list will never end. I drove the Florida Keys, snorkeled in the Gulf. I've stood on top of a mountain in the Rockies and looked down on the clouds. The search for the next bucket never ends. And
never ends.
Touche.
I like that so much.
Oh, you gonna?
I got to give her a big. I like that one a lot. That was a good one.
That's beautiful and inspirational, and it was said so well. I could set music behind it and make it a song. It was so good.
And it made me think about, you know, in the clouds and going above the clouds at Mount Haleakala over on the island of Maui, is that you go up and up, and finally you see some signs on the road. Be careful when driving through the clouds. It's like, what? Why would they say that? And you go through the clouds. And eventually you get above, you know, up to 10,000 feet. You're up above the cloud line. So yeah, you're getting closer to heaven. Aloha to you.
Pam Fam says, happy 27th anniversary to Gigi's bucket list. And Gigi would be me. I won't tell you what the Gigi stands for, but that's me. Yeah, and on the bucket list, one thing with the Northern Lights that has kind of been discouraging, and that's something else to talk about. What are some of the obstacles that get in your way of fulfilling your bucket list? And the Northern Lights, the obstacle is you do not know exactly when it's going to happen. You know, so if you drive to Alaska, you know, more than likely you're going to drive out of there before the Northern Lights happen. or if you take a plane and you plan a week or 2 weeks, there's no guarantee that you're going to see the Northern Lights. So that's a hard one.
By the way, Grace, did you know that 20 years before I met you that I had a car that was nicknamed Gigi?
Yes, you told me that before. I don't know. Green, it was green gremlin or green.
Well, somebody else had one that was a kind of a maroon reddish car, and theirs was Yosemite Sam or whatever the guy's name is in the cartoon character. And I thought, well, mine was kind of like a kind of a bluish green, so I would call mine Green Goddess, and for short it would be Gigi. So you're my Green Goddess, honey.
I was gonna say you got one of the two. See, you put it on your bucket list, Michael. You put it on your bucket list. And Linda,
there's something to be said for that.
She scratched
here. Look at James. Jumped out of a plane at 100. I will make it. Well, who was? It was one of our past presidents. It was George Bush Sr. When he was in his 80s, he said, "Yeah, I'm going to go out of a plane." I think tandem parasailing.
Yeah.
Penny, if you're still there, your mom wanted to do it when she was 18, and I was like, "Well, I am not going to jump out of a perfectly good plane, but I'll go up." And so, they're talking about all the safety things, and I'm not paying attention. And then they're saying, "And here, Mr. Nissler, here's your parachute." Like, what? I'm not going to jump. Everybody goes up on the plane has to have a parachute if something should happen. It's like, oh, now I'm paying attention. And the parachute is about the size of a sack lunch. It's less than a bowling ball. So I thought, what? This is enough, but it's an emergency chute. You don't get a primary chute. And so, okay, I've got it back on my back. And they said, don't touch the ripcord because the side of the plane is open. It's not enclosed. And if you were to hit it and it comes out as the plane's up, it would take the plane down. Oh, okay. So we get up to 10,000 feet. And my daughter, Jenny, was, they're, what would you say, corded to the chute master, and they get out on the strut of the plane. And somebody asked, I said, "Well, you're not going to want to jump." I said, "No way am I going to jump." Well, they said, "We've had people that have gotten panicked and they've jumped out and they've grabbed hold of the two people and then you can't get the chute up until they free the other one." A mess. But she went out and I got some pictures, click, 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 click. And they're, you're falling at, I don't know, 100 and some foot per second. And they were gone, sure enough, in a second or two. And my heart's beating fast because, my head is out of the
daughter, right.
I thought, what about my daughter? She's just jumped out of it. So yeah, she started it young when she went out, James. But yeah, I know what you mean. Do you want to jump or not?
I had a friend that did skydiving, which is nowhere, anywhere, zilch on my bucket list. But my friend, I asked him if he was afraid the first time that he went skydiving. He said, not as afraid as I was the second time. So
yeah. And where did you say you wanted to go? You sent me a one of the many emails today, and you were saying about somewhere down towards Mexico and beyond.
Yeah, it's close to the Mayan ruins, and I can't.
Yeah, Chichen Itza. Yeah,
right.
It says chicken, but it's Chichen Itza is the way it's pronounced.
Okay. Well, this is
and so,
a well of some sort, but there's a name for the well. It's a natural well.
Oh, by it. Yeah, by the Yucatan Peninsula, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. And you can go.
But anyway, one thing about that, honey, was that these pyramids, they're not like the ones you see. Well, sort of like the ones you see in Egypt that you can no longer climb. But each brick is about, I don't know, better part of 2.5 feet high. And so, to go up from one level to another, you have to kind of prostrate yourself. The idea is you have to prostrate yourself to God to get up to the top. And if you should miss a step going down, there's no stopping. So yeah, I don't know if you'd really want to, if you like heights, this would be the thing for you, honey.
We'll see. Nate says that skydiving has to be on the list. No. Skydiving. No.
But that said, how about if it was on a parasail? They have these ones like at the sand dunes and things. You start off where you're only about 5 feet drop, and there's sand beneath you. And you may sometimes get a face full of sand, but Would you do that if it was just like, something that was very moderate to start?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, the only thing I might jump off of would be maybe a diving board above a swimming pool. That's about it.
I think if you ever get a chance to, right, if you get a chance to go online and do a YouTube search for couch potato parasailing or skydive, either of those would probably work. But there's a fellow over, I think it's in Turkey, and I thought it's got to be trick photography. It's got to be green screen or something like that, because it's like, maybe about 6,000-7,000 feet above sea level, and he's got this parachute, a tandem chute, and he goes up and he's like on a couch. I mean, a real honest to goodness couch. One. Yeah, that's one that so if you like heights and you don't think you have to be afraid of heights, follow that guy. Maybe go up with him, because sometimes he'll like have a table with a 4 people playing cards as they're up there like 6,000 feet. Anyway,
well, I
some people like the heights.
Somebody up in the sky with a Kaliki kind of a dog. And I have that on our California Travel Videos Facebook page. You have to scroll down quite a bit because it's probably been about a month since I posted it. But yeah, dog was chill and he's just hanging there, gliding through the sky. Nate, you would love that video.
Here's one. RV living. I will jump out of a plane when it's on fire and the wings have fallen off too.
What did I miss?
And by the way, I don't know what Nate meant by this, but he had one. Let's see, something about Grace jumping off a cliff. What did he mean by that? How'd you take that, honey?
I think I missed something.
Here it is. I know some cliffs you can jump off, Grace.
No, we have videos on that when we were in Mexico of the cliff jumpers. It was, I think, more impressive than them jumping was them climbing to the top of the cliff. That was spectacular. So that was cool. I don't know if I missed a super chat, but I see that Sue posted something. So sorry, I'm not keeping up here.
Just having him with us here is super chat enough, and everybody else that's here. So thank you. And Nate, good to have you with us as always. And I'm wondering where you're at today. Do you want to come aboard and tell us your adventures? Do we have a link we can give? Yeah, a bucket list kind of list for Nate, because he's, I think he's the poster child, if you will, of it. And maybe we can have some others come up later also. Linda's like to go to the Texas Gulf Coast. Yeah, Grace was just the other day, in fact, saying, well, not Texas, because she says it only has one lake. And I said, come on. I know it has more than one lake. And then she said one natural lake.
What I said.
And I said, well, it has this thing called the Gulf down there, like Linda's suggesting. So depends. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, isn't it? Just one thing you learn, though, as I've told you, Grace, is that they do have this thing called sand sugars. They'll go into your skin and bury, and it itches for several days.
No,
so
see, that's like on Rails to Trails. I mean, we have in the group Facebook bucket lists that are trail rides, and you might notice on some of our previous videos we do a lot of those. But this one trail and several trails in Florida, you got to watch out for the alligators. Okay. I'm like, nah, scratch. Not on my bucket list. Gone. Oh, that looks fun. Oh, that looks nice. Scratch. Not going to happen.
It's funny when you mention you see one YouTube video and always how it morphs to the next one. And you sent me one today that really got me kind of interesting. And it's about, how would you say it? You live vicariously through somebody else, when you watch a movie or something like that. And I suppose when we watch our YouTube videos too. But you remember that video you sent me that got me off into where I watched the first one, the auto suggest got me into where it has these dogs that are watching big screen TVs and how immersed in their feelings that they get when they're watching. What was the name of the show or the major character, honey?
Which one?
Simba, I think it was. It was a little character, the lion. Yeah, Simba, the Lion King. And yeah, and it's like you watch the dogs do this, and you can't help but want to see the animal's reaction as the story progresses. And the thing I was going to get to is that the YouTube algorithm, for better or worse, it's like, oh, you like to see videos of animals, of dogs or cats watching TV. And it's amazing that the technology is where when you upload a video, it categorizes a dog, it categorizes television or dog watching television. So when you see one, it's like, oh, you're going to probably want to watch this one next. And so sometimes on our bucket list, I think it's the same way. We get our appetite whetted on a certain genre or location. And then somebody said, well, if you like that, you will love whatever it is next.
Exactly. The recommended videos. So, going back on the bucket list, and Michael, you can share this. I have the top 10 travel destinations for 2020, and this comes from bigseventtravel.com. I'll put the link on our description, under our description, and they are definitely noteworthy. They get a lot of information. Hello, Lillian. From multiple sources, not just kind of like this is what I want to do. And even Forbes magazine has recommended them. So on the top 10, we're going to go ahead and count down from the top 10 to the number 1.
Let me scrolling. I'm sounding like Ray now. RV Life Rocks. And where? Oh, okay. Top 10 destinations. Big7travel.com/50 bucket list places 2020.
Okay.
Shall we?
So
you want to go first?
Let me get the drum roll. Okay. That'll be toward 1, right? For the drum roll. So let's start with 10.
I'll do number 10.
Okay. The number
would be Singapore.
Singapore.
So yeah, it's a beautiful city, and it's very what would you say, financially it's very solvent. And so they do have some issues with China, which some people might actually want to see, is that, what is really going on that you don't see on the news. But yeah, it's a beautiful city. That would have to be one for people who like international travel.
Okay. And
I will say, excuse me, when I went through that area on a cruise ship just for one day, it was like, you probably would get served rice for breakfast. You don't have to eat it. They have other things, but when you have the traditional type of breakfast our Westerners have, it's like, oh, rice for breakfast? How
Rice
about that?
Krispies, honey. Rice Krispies. Okay,
Next,
9.
Grace, number 9.
Further ado, Kapiti Island, New Zealand. Okay,
New Zealand. Woohoo!
The Pan Fam was talking about New Zealand and the hobbits, and New Zealand is actually toward the very front of my bucket list. That's supposed to be one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Mm-hmm. I think all the Polynesian islands are considered, and it's actually it is one of the Polynesian islands. So it's a pretty big one, but we have a famous photographer that we have seen online that moved to New Zealand because it's such a beautiful place. Where is that? Who is that?
That's Trey Radcliffe.
Trey Radcliffe, right?
Yeah,
Mr. HDR, high definition, right?
Yeah, he's one of our favorite photographers, and he was an early inspiration when I first started getting serious about my photography. So, hello, Rose. Glad she's back from a terrific dinner, and I hope you saved me some mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be leaving tomorrow for our trip, so we're going to just kind of eat off the fat of the land tonight, but that's fine because Grace always has awesome leftovers. By the way, one thing for New Zealand, we do as Rotarians, one of our avenues of service is international and friendship exchange, where you have people go from one country to another and stay with fellow Rotarians. And we've had people from India, and they have been very nice. We have enjoyed their company very much. And so we had some people from New Zealand that were about 10 miles north of us at a club, and they invited nearby clubs. And it was really interesting. They don't have a big population. I think it's around 3 million. And one of their main things, their export is sheep wool, I guess, and things. But the people there are so much fun. Should we do number
8?
Okay, I don't know this at all, and I couldn't even say it right, but I will say it's in Bolivia in Central America. I will try it. SALAR. Salar, D, D, UYUNI.
Here, I'll type it in the
Ua
comments.
Uni.
Or actually, you know
Ua
what?
Uni.
I'm
It
not
ends
gonna-
with uni, that's for sure. Anyway, in Bolivia, and I don't know, I have not been to that, but maybe I will do a cut and paste here,
just
and I will
did.
do a little search.
It's,
Oh, you did?
I just did. There we
What
go.
did you find?
No, honey, I just posted the pronunciation.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, yes, we definitely. So you're gonna look to see some information on there.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up a browser here, and with a little bit of a luck, I can go ahead and I'll go to the images. And oh, there's one that you'll remind you of another one. So let's see if I go to another screen here, to the laptop screen,
share.
and I'm going to get myself miniaturized so that I have to hit this button here and go back to my other computer screen. Yeah, there we go. And then minimize myself. Zoop. And I guess
let me make you full screen.
why don't we solo myself? There we go. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get some pictures here. But yeah, it looks like, but this one at the top with these mounds, it reminded me of when we go to Bowling Ball Beach, honey. You remember Bowling Ball Beach?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So there's some really great pictures there. So yeah, that would be an interesting place. It's one I never knew, but Central America has a lot of beautiful places.
Hey,
okay, next up, honey.
We can always be adding more to our bucket list. Now, what did I just do? Did I? Sorry
do you not want me around? Here, I want to go on the. Let me go on this side. Now I'm looking towards you, honey. It's all about you.
I ejected him. Okay, so going to the 7th position of the top 10 travel destinations.
Yes,
Belfast, Northern Ireland. And Penny, you're right on the money again with Ireland.
Mm-hmm. That's another keeper. Yeah.
Ireland, Scotland. I mean, those are definitely. I would like to spend like 3 months in England and Scotland and Ireland, just traveling around in a little, van or something. That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Nate. If nothing else, I can do special effects. That's right. So next up, I'm going to go back down to New Zealand area. And you have number 6 on their list is Melbourne, Australia. The Aussies are really cool people.
The land down under.
The land down under, yes.
Do you come from the land?
Can I have a Vitamix sandwich there, honey? Do you ever have, a song about Vitamix?
You're talking about I Love Lucy?
No, there's a song that has to do with Vitamix sandwiches.
Nope.
Anyways, don't know that one. Okay, next up.
Down under.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Number 5. This is a place closer to us on the list a little bit. New Orleans, Louisiana. So I would like to go there for the music 100% and for the food because I love some good Cajun food.
But you have one very, very big problem going to there. Grace, when she used to work in a call center, and quickly she's going to know where I'm going with this, is she said, yeah, I can talk to different people from different areas. I can make out what they're having to say, except for, go ahead, tell us.
People from, what region is that? Okay, so I work for the telephone company. At one point, I used to talk to people only in California. Then they added California, Nevada. Then they added Southwest, which was Texas and a few other states. And then they added, and I can't remember the region that it was called, but Louisiana, wasn't it Oklahoma too? Yeah, Oklahoma. And I talk to people from all over the world, but I got to tell you, I'm going to the south, and we're going to go rocks in the mouth because the clowns in the world I was saying.
Well, I don't know if they have tobacco in their mouth or a lot of marbles, but maybe if you have some in your ears, that would kind of compensate for it.
No, it was just really bad. I mean, I can understand people from India, from the Philippines, even with thick accents. But you get me down in Louisiana region and Alabama, yeah, I could not understand them.
Us people from California, we don't always enunciate our words very well, but Louisiana, yes, they have their own way of
We don't enunciate.
communicating.
What do you mean we don't enunciate? We enunciate. All right, you're next.
We slur. Yes. Okay, next. San Jose. San Jose. Do you know the way to no, stop that. No, San Jose, Costa Rica. I gotta say, if you have not been to Costa Rica in Central America, it's number one. It rocks. And so why is that? Well, it's beautiful. It does have moderate resources, but it does in the neighboring countries. So what makes it different? It has to do with this, honey.
The brain.
The brain. Yeah, they decided that, with the Contras and some of the people in other countries that would thugs, they decided, we're not going to spend a lot of money on the army, on military. We're going to spend it on education. So just kind of like Jordan, Egypt, man, not a great place. They don't make investments in their children who are their future. But Jordan did it, and Costa Rica, and some of these countries that have a high value on education. United States, please. So, yeah, I got to say is that San Jose, Costa Rica, the only thing is you must remember is this. For breakfast, they have rice and beans. For lunch, beans and rice.
What's up
For
with
dinner,
rice?
reverse. What do you mean? What's up with rice?
I'm gonna put rice in your bucket, Michael.
Okay, you can be in number one position. There you go.
You're gonna have rice for dinner. Now we were in San Jose. Oh God, why am I not remembering the name of where the rocks were that I love so much that had the holes in the ocean? But I think that was in Mexico, part of Mexico. And we went to San Jose and we went to the glass blowing.
Yeah, that's just kind of by I want to say the Cape, by the Gulf. Yes, right around that area. Yes.
So Linda says she doesn't really aspire to travel too much outside of the United States except for Vancouver. And yes, Canada, I cannot wait to spend several months in Canada.
Absolutely. Okay. And I guess for RVers, that's kind of true for us, is that we do some travel, which is interesting because somebody that I've really enjoyed watching has been Kevin. Yes, Nomadic Fanatic, or a friend too, but another Kevin, 30 and a Wake Up. And what does that mean to you with his channel, 30 and a Wake Up, Grace?
And he was 30 years old when he woke up.
I thought so too. That is not what his channel is about. 30 days at a location, get on the plane, and wake up somebody where else. Yeah, like, phew, that was kind of over my head also.
Oh,
but,
okay,
he's been...
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he's been over in Singapore for the last 30 days himself. Don't you know? So, yeah, some people, they do like to travel affordably. Sorry, go ahead, honey.
Oh, I was just saying hello to Adventures on the Moon Man. Michael's a moonlit night kind of guy.
Yes, Moonlit Night is my handle. And yeah, good to have you here. And John Chucker. Hey, John.
Hello, John. And Old Card Junkie says, I love rice with butter and only okra style. Yeah, and I did see a post earlier, I think it was from Linda, talking about having rice for breakfast with sugar and milk and like some sweeteners when she was a kid. And I do remember something like that being popular.
Yeah. Look at this. What Sue has said. I am one of Kevin's, honey. You keep clicking it.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to have a clicking wars. Just easy. Get your finger off that button for a second, or there'll be no bang for the buck. Anyway, yeah, one of Kevin's, and I have seen you there, Sue, and she is like everybody's mod. So our hats off to you and our hearts are out to you. So yeah, I mean, and he does have a great channel. He's a really giving guy. And I got to say one thing about him. When you get to like where he's at 70,000 subscribers, and if you've got like 500 comments, is like, it's hard to keep up with him because he has quite a few videos a week. And so some YouTubers will, just click a like or have a heart there. We try to do more when we can. Kevin, even though he has 70,000 subs and maybe 500 per episode, if somebody writes a comment, he will take the time. He's not doing it in longhand with his pen, but he'll take the time and make a comment back. So how much he really appreciates this audience. And when it comes to, some people, they want to monetize by, like having a community tab that is for members. He's like, no, I'll make one for like 99 cents or whatever the lowest amount is, but he likes to give his content out to all of us. So pretty cool guy.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's go ahead and hit that number 3 on the bucket list.
We down to number 3 would be a place that we have been to. I want to know who knows this. This is the city of the Big Dig. I've not seen this list till now, but if you know, the city is called the Big Dig. Tell us where you think that is. It's the United States. It's on the right coast, also called the left coast.
We're gonna fight over this podcast.
It's a big city that has the Big Dig, which costs several $1 billion for this dig. If you didn't know that, I haven't seen it pop up yet, but maybe somebody will get it.
Thank you, Desert Adventures in Arizona, and he guessed Chicago. They hit the button. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay,
appreciate that. Yes.
Dig, Michael.
The Big Dig is in Boston, Massachusetts.
Woo!
Now, my wife sometimes she pronounces it different. I'm not sure if she pronounces it right, but honey, how do you say Massachusetts?
You making fun of my speech impediment again?
No, I'm just not sure if I say it the right way. How do you like to say it? Okay, it sounds pretty close to what I say. But anyway, yeah, so Boston, Massachusetts has a lot of history there. We've loved it. And to go on a bike ride, out by Cambridge, by Harvard University or MIT, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I got to say, that would be someplace everybody should try to go.
Now I know why you stole number 3 from me, honey.
You get to do number 2.
No, I'm not doing number 2. You get to do number 2.
Oh, like that, huh?
Yep. And I'll do
it's
number
Kyiv.
1.
I can pronounce that one. Kyiv, Ukraine. I might have been for you, honey, because you love our Siberian Husky. And, so I know this is a little south, but, the Russian vodka, from Siberia, where they take the potatoes and they make them into, good vodka. We play some chess and cuddle up and be warm. So, yeah, I don't know about Kyiv, though, why of all the places, but the Ukraine. Okay.
I am not familiar. I was really kind of surprised to see it that low because you'd think it would always be somewhere that you're familiar with. But we'll have to do some more research.
Yeah, but either way, when I was on the cruises in the Baltic region, and one of the day trips was to Checkpoint Charlie, which is right there at Berlin, where there's the East and the West, and kind of interesting, fascinating history during the days of the Cold War, which now fortunately isn't there. But I did another day trip, quite a ways, 300 miles that went inland to what used to be the capital. Now, the capital now, as we know, is Moscow, but it used to be Novgorod. And it's interesting to see the countryside, you get away from the politics and all this stuff. And so I'm sure Ukraine would be great. So, Grace, you get, however they decided this one, number 1.
Okay,
but don't pronounce that last letter.
What's this comment?
I don't know. You did that. I see that's from California Drove. Somebody's snarky here.
Me? Snarky? No. Never. Okay, number 1. Can I get a drum
roll? Number 1. A drum roll. Wait a second. I'm going to do a drum roll. Okay.
Okay. In the number 1 position, Guadalupe, Caribbean.
No, senorita. Come here, Kaliki.
Caribbean?
Come here, boy.
Caribbean.
No, I said don't pronounce that last letter.
Caribbean or Caribbean?
Guadalupe. No, Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. Okay,
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. Caribbeans. Jamaica.
Hey, Kaliki.
Okay, so
Come here, boy.
that is an island that has popped up there recently and has become more and more tourist friendly, and probably where it used to be more the Jamaica. This is an area of the Caribbeans that I would love to explore. Oh, Desert Adventures in Arizona has his opinion of what should be on the number one.
What does Steve have for us?
Arizona. Steve,
I
have a song flashback for you. Arizona.
knew you were going to go there. Yeah.
Take off your Indian.
Grace, for Grace, everything's a song.
Arizona, why don't you come my way? Now we know why I'm not.
How about, have you been on a horse with no name, Grace?
Of course I've been on a horse with no name. I actually got bucked off that horse. I was in Nebraska. We were riding, my mother and I, from New York to California, and I got thrown off that horse. We weren't in the desert, though. We were in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about Arizona, honey. What's your experience with Arizona?
Arizona. Oh, I know. I was standing on a corner in Winslow,
Arizona.
That's it.
Come on now. Where's a spot that so many people have on their bucket list? And you sort of did for this place.
It was one of the national parks, and it was the Petrified Forest. And it was not on my bucket list at all. It was probably toward the bottom of national parks. But go up higher. Go up further in the state. Go up higher elevation. Higher, honey. Northern part of the state.
Oh, way up
Grand
north.
Canyon.
Hello.
I actually did love the Petrified Forest. It was chanting. It was amazing. It's spectacular. And of course, the Grand Canyon is just something. That one had something strange happen. Sometimes we have a bucket list, and other times we have destiny. So this was our trip in 2019. And we had gone to upstate New York, where my family has been since 1790, not living, of course, but nonetheless. And my cousin gave me a box full of family slides of her parents, who were both gone, my aunt and my uncle. And I put them in the RV, and we traveled all throughout the United States with these slides. I couldn't really look at them during that time. I didn't have a way to. We go to the Grand Canyon. I get home. I start pulling out stuff that I can convert the slides to JPEGs. And there was a photo of my late grandmother and my late grandfather standing in almost the identical spot that Michael and I stood for a picture. Ooh. Hello to the Dyson's Crazy Adventure.
Dyson's with us. Hey, and everybody else who's here. And Lillian is joining us also. So, it's kind of interesting is that we thought we were going to the Grand Canyon to see the sights. I thought, we'll go to the north side. It's only 500,000 feet more. It'd be a little cooler. Let's go to the south side. Thank goodness we didn't go north. We froze our tails off in early part of October. It just like high elevation. And it got down to freezing at night. And do you remember what we saw that came into our campground, honey? I forgot about this. They were big.
A moose?
Yeah, several moose. I mean, and they were huge.
Yeah. That's a
they
video
came walked right through.
Produce. That's on the upcoming. Someday we'll.
Oh, stop that now! Don't put the Debbie Downer hat on. Stop that, Grace.
Debbie Downer. I'm saying you got to subscribe to our channel to see those videos, because someday.
Yeah, it'll in 5 or 10 years it'll be out. It's like a fine wine. It has to get a full body. You know what I mean?
Refresh our memory of our trip.
That's right. Well, we'll get to relive it ourselves. But no, the thing that we found on the bucket list there for the Grand Canyon, honey, as much as we loved the sights, we were, you take buses, as they do in main national campgrounds are busy, to go from one place to another. And these people that were waiting with us, they became great friends of ours. He was definitely into photography. And so we spent the next several days together. So, sometimes a bucket list you think is for one thing, the sights to see, the cinematic views, or, something with history. And sometimes it turns out it's like Captain Jack there, when you're going to M21 or other places like that. That's so cool.
Interject here and just remind everybody that Gina will be on following us this evening, 6 p.m. here in California. So
tick, 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 tick. We have 24 minutes left.
Subscribe to Van Life with Gina and stay tuned. Also, I want to go ahead and give a little more information on this one. Captain Jack, he did that many times in 1971, which was a great year, while riding his 10-speed 759 miles on an amazing solo trip. So put a little bit more in the comments. I'd love to hear about that. He
was pedaling AWS.
Right? Where'd you put your reel-to-reel music player on that trip?
There was something I liked there. And by the way, Gina has done an M21 redux. So she had some more times with good friends up there. Well, and wish we could have been there. We've been, whatever our alibis are, or where we can't get to all these different rallies, but there's been some awesome ones that where good people get together.
So is the redux
as well as Gracie
like a variation of M21? I'm not sure, because she was in Oregon and
I mean O21. I'm sorry, I meant to say O21.
O21, right? And we're planning an O22. So stay tuned for more on that. We look forward to everybody who can to join us. Yeah, and so
we're about where, honey. Just a second, please. Old Car Junkie. Look where he says.
Sleeping under a table in a roadside park.
Yeah, man. I mean, wait a second. One of the things that a lot of us do appreciate is the word value. And sometimes you don't have to be where you stay in the Taj Mahal. It's like the means justify the ends. And so, if you're kind of like just kind of hanging out, I guess I can see where some people like to just kind of live off the fat of the land, so to speak. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. So Lillian, you have some more you're popping up there, baby?
Lillian says she can't wait for O22. Yeah, we had a great time. We met so many of our fellow creators, as well as those who are always here and supportive. So we look forward to a return trip in 2022. And I guess
thank you, Tracy. Right,
put that 777 on the bucket list. And honey, do you remember when I asked you to create a bucket list, what you came up with?
Refresh my memory.
A plastic bucket, metal bucket, and a mop bucket.
I think Grace has pivoted. I think we're now in the jokes section of our show, aren't we?
Yo no sé. Do you have any travel jokes, bucket list jokes, inspirational quotes? For quotes, this one isn't per se about a bucket list, but as Sue said earlier, maybe we had vision boards prior to 2007's bucket list phrase. So on my visual board, I always had this quote: "A goal without a plan is merely a wish." I love that one. So when you're planning,
that gets a nailed. Hey, that is a good one. Good job.
So it falls into what we were talking about last week. See it, believe it, achieve it.
Well, I thought so, but sometimes, honey, I went through my bucket list, and I go down there, and I'm going, and it's sort of like a fortune. Oh, I got a fortune in there, and I sat there, and it said, I'll do what it said. Being naked on the hotel room bed, but it says with George Clooney. This is my wife's bucket list. That is not my bucket list.
That's my bucket list.
did steal it. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Okay.
That was a good one, honey. Sorry.
Am I? So Rose says, if you guys go to the Grand Canyon, you've got to take the tour on horseback or donkeys.
We didn't go down the canyon, though. That's we didn't have enough time with all the photos and places. I will say, be sure to take the bus that goes around the canyon. It goes for, I don't know, 20, 30 miles, and there's a lot of different stops, and it's all free. Yes, it's definitely worth the investment.
But I will say, donkeys, horses, hike. Michael's brought it up a couple times, but I have fibromyalgia, and today it's in my neck area and it's pulling really tight. And I put my hand right here and it feels extremely hot to me. So I'm having a hard time turning my head. So things like horses. So I get out there, I do the things that I can do. I keep going as much as I can on the bikes or the kayaks or walking, but horses and mules and donkeys and jumping off cliffs, nothing on that bucket list there. So that's why we are Adventures of California Travel Video.
That's true. I think we should see if somebody wants to come up now, honey. What do you think?
It's up to you.
We have time for it. We have anything else on the show? If somebody has a bucket list thing, should we put a link up there?
Well, do you know why frogs can't ever complete their bucket list?
I think I've heard this one. Yeah.
Because they croak before
they croak even before it gets started. I completed my bucket list yesterday, honey.
Did you ask?
I finally bought a bucket.
Good job. Did you ask Nate about his live stream yesterday from
Mackinac, honey. Mackinac.
Nate, would you like to come up?
I don't know if sometimes he doesn't have the connectivity gear, but we need that link to be posted.
Oh, just be careful with putting. I'm not familiar with Mackinac on your bucket list.
Mackinac. No.
Mackinac.
No, Mackinac.
Mackinac.
Oh. No, Mackinac.
Nate, we'd love for you to come up and tell us your experience there in Mackinac. And what state is that?
Mackinac, that would be up in Michigan, for sure, the M21. And Rose Biss says it costs $150 to fly over the canyon. Well, I think it would be a little more these days, but that was a good deal. The only thing is, when we were over in Kauai, I knew I wanted to go on Jack Harder's helicopter trip. You may have heard about Chuck Yeager. He did experimental planes, jets, and the like. And he said the saying, there are old pilots and there are bold pilots, but there are no old, bold pilots. I'll go with Jack Harder's. He's still hanging in there. So I don't want to go on a discount helicopter ride, but you enjoyed it as much as Grace was afraid of the heights. We went on one that had the open sides on it, so we didn't have the reflections of the dome that would reflect our shots. So
Nate's going to come and join us and tell us about his experience there on his bucket list trip that he's had so far.
Awesome.
So we look forward to
that. Because he's been putting them up and taking them down there in different places he's been going.
Yes.
And I know that going to M21 was one of them.
It is definitely fun to watch other people and live vicariously with them. Yeah. So.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
We're going to just go ahead and leave that link there for Nate to come. There he is. Okay, to come.
Hey, Mr. Nate.
How's it going?
How you doing, bro? Good. How about you?
I'm doing well. This is my last night of having a signal, I think. So you guys timed it well.
Oh, who is your carrier?
I've got Verizon and AT&T, but I'm going up to Lake Superior tomorrow for 2 weeks. And all the reviews say there's absolutely nothing up there. So it's going to be a struggle.
Oh, it's too bad we couldn't have Elon Musk go with you, and he could, make this kind of thing happen with his Starlink, but yeah,
Right.
shucks. So you're going deep.
Yeah, well, you guys talked about it, trying to see. These are the 2 weeks I'm hoping to see the Northern Lights. Like that's probably my best chance. So,
Oh, you're going to try to do it.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
it's
this campground's right
Woohoo.
on Lake Superior. So this is on the very north side of Lake Superior, and there's a couple nights in there. The thing I'm not sure about is when I look at the forecast, there's like the week after I'm supposed to start going south is when it looks like, at least right now, it's forecasted to kind of go crazy. So I'm gonna have to make that decision when I get there.
Ooh, that's kind of tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, go ahead.
I was gonna say, go ahead. I was just gonna say it gets cold, and I don't want to be up there too long. But if that's my chance, I don't know.
Yeah, October is, at least when you're up
Namaste.
in Alaska, is when you have to start getting a little sketchy. So yeah, watch the weather and try to stay, on the front edge of a storm coming in. But what was I going to say? Oh, senior moment must be clicking in. But
Well,
yeah, it would be great if you go ahead, Grace.
we only have a few minutes left before Gina goes on, and I really would love to hear his story and his experience. I was hearing that where he was located, there's no cars. It's all horse and buggy or a golf cart. So this sounds really intriguing. Tell us more.
So this last week, this is my second time here. So I stayed at St. Ignace, which is just north of the Mackinac Bridge, a month ago or so, as I was heading down towards M21. And then I bounced around and got M21, and I came back north. And so I got to go out there, so I kind of experienced it, but that's when I was hurt. And so I walked around a little bit. I saw the arch and a couple things. But I was like, I'm going to go back out there with my bike. And because you can bike around, so there's two modes of transportation, is horses and the horse-drawn buggies and bikes, basically. And so I went back out there and I thought, okay, I kind of know my way. And a couple other people had done lives. Unai and Travis of Dream on Wheels had done a live. They'd come north from M21 just before me. And they kind of covered the little ferry area where all the shops are at. And so I was like, all right, that's okay. I'm going to do a live that goes from the Grand Hotel, which is an enormous hotel. It's the world's largest patio or front deck or something like that. Like it's that long. And it just looks over the Mackinac Strait. And it's absolutely beautiful. So I started there and then tried to bike over to the arch, which is kind of it's a very pretty naturally made arch that looks down into the very clear water. And
do you take pictures or videos of any of this?
Yeah. I actually visited both on both trips because they're kind of the two main things. But I did the live yesterday for this, so to show everybody else. I was like, if somebody wants to see Mackinac Island, these are the two things. Well, what everybody's referring to, everybody's like, talk about this, and it was hilarious. You've never seen me so beat red. There was it was unanticipated for sure. I meant to stay on top of the cliff, but there was some construction, even on a small island. And I got forced back down into the main store area, and I stopped to turn the phone around and make sure I wasn't missing anything and check chat. Next thing I know, I was surrounded by these four women, and they just got off their carriage ride, and they were very entertaining. Oh my gosh! But I got beat red because they were very flirty and all sorts of stuff, and so yeah.
All sorts of stuff. Yeah. TMI, right? Were they imbibing or something? I get a feeling like they had some of the noble fruit or something.
I think one was at least tipsy. And
okay.
You get any phone numbers?
I did. I was on a live. I was like, what is going on here? Everybody was like, he's just trying to get away. He's just trying to get away. And I couldn't. They were very They were very entertaining. It made for a great live, to be honest with you. It's one of those things when you go live and you're out and about, you don't know what's going to happen, right?
That is true.
That's one of the reasons you catch the live when it's live, because I can't cut it at that point. If something goes wrong, I can cut it later, but I can't cut it there.
Yes.
Well, and I've noticed you on other lives when you've been out, you will say hello to people and you'll tell them say hello to YouTube.
Oh yeah.
So
even on the recorded videos, I do that sometimes. The sad thing, and people don't realize this, there were 3 really funny moments in that live. One of them, I did that. I got surrounded by these ladies. One was single apparently, and I finally got back up the hill, which everybody got to watch me huff and puff because I had to climb back up the hill. And I went back along towards the arch, and we started talking about this pineapple thing again because it was on my premiere that was before it. And I didn't realize my internet was cutting out right at this time. I was on the bike path.
No.
Yeah, so nobody saw this. Nobody saw it. I went back and watched it, and it cut out like right there. So I'm on the bike path, and the horse carriage path was over here where bikes go to. And so somebody asked about the pineapples. And in my premiere, I asked, do they grow on trees or on the ground, or how do pineapples grow? And everybody's like, you idiot, they don't grow on trees. And I was kind of like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I was like, well, let's ask these people that are just happening to bike over here on this other trail if they know whether pineapples grow on trees. And so I kind of yell over to these people who have no idea who I am. They don't know that I'm live or anything. And I say, hey guys, do pineapples grow on trees? And she said, heck no, they don't. And I was like, no, they don't grow on trees. They grow from apparently they're kind of like bushes in the ground. They don't grow underground. They're above
like artichokes.
They're like bushes, I guess.
Well, like
Yeah, they're like bushes or artichokes. If you go to Hawaii, the pineapple island. And so, here's an interesting factoid on that. I'll make it short, but a lot of the Portuguese people wanted to move there. And when you maybe hear the term, they didn't assimilate well with the whites, they would call us the Howleys. It was kind of a disparaging term. But with the Portuguese who worked so hard in the fields, because I guess these, if they're about 4 to 5 feet high, and it's just almost like a insidious root when they grow. It's very hard work. But yeah, the Portuguese, they married them and worked with them. And so, but you wouldn't want to make a career out of picking pineapples from what I've heard over in Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I noticed, I call him now Uncle Steve, but Steve Turtle, he had his show, and it was a peanut boil where he's at in Florida, and they threw all these. So he basically showed us the whole process, including picking the peanuts, and those too grow like on a bush. Yeah. So yeah, I think when we're not around something or we're not familiar with it, I used to always ask people, what time of the year does the artichoke turn purple, have the purple flower? Because I wanted to drive by big fields of artichokes and take pictures of them all purple. Lo and behold, guess what? They get harvest before that. If the purple flower is on there, it means it's been too long and you can't harvest the artichoke. So basically the answer is that doesn't happen. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey. And John, you know a lot about pineapples. Welcome.
All right. One, pineapples, the best time to get a pineapple. Go ahead.
When you're at the store?
Oh, I know.
I agree.
I know how to pick a pineapple.
Actually, did you know how they pick pineapples? Actually, one hand, they put the bottom of the pineapple. They have a, what do they call those? Sickles.
Machete, I would call it.
Yeah, I call it a machete too. And they slice the top of the pineapple off of the bush.
So how do they know when the pineapple is ready and mature?
They look at them.
Okay, because I actually asked this today on.
I found this out because I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a grower, and he also has a greenhouse. And he actually bought in he went to Dole, and he brought in 4 pineapple bushes into his greenhouse. And 4 orange trees into his greenhouse. Which one do you think survived the best?
Pineapples.
You got it. He had pineapples up the nose. He had so many, one bush, right? How many pineapples you think does one bush grow?
It's 3.
Well, that's a good question.
3?
7?
It's 3.
3?
No,
It's 3.
it depends on the climate. If it's in a
Oh, okay.
controlled climate, like a greenhouse, they will do up to 25 apiece.
Wow.
How about
I don't
that?
know. I don't know, John Chalker. This pineapple expert that I randomly talked to on my bike trip.
That's right.
Yeah, there was more. So I yelled over there.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and sir, do you know how many? I'm not making this up. She goes, do you know how many pineapples can maximum grow on a bush? And I said, no, I don't. I didn't even know they grew on bushes. She said 3. So
No, it depends on it depends on the cellulose structure that they're given. That's what my friend told me. What happens is in a controlled environment, outside it's only 3.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes good sense. You know, I know of other things in a greenhouse here in California, and it always has more buds. I mean, more fruit.
Right. Yes, that's right. We won't talk about what those crops are. But Grace, I do have a question for you,
Yes.
and that is,
That would be illegal.
she's an expert in pineapples, I think. And at least your wife is always right, and you do a good job. So when you get a pineapple, what are the criteria when you get one at the store?
Okay, well, when I
How
go
do you
to the
pick it?
grocery store, how I know which pineapple to buy, and I learned this at the San Jose flea market. Okay, when you pick the pineapple, if you go to pull out one of the tops, if it's hard to pull, you don't want that one. It's not right. If you pull
It's
it,
not ready.
if it comes out too easily, it's rotten on the inside. You want it now. None of you probably know what this means, but if you've ever plucked your eyebrows or plucked the hair, that's how when you pick your pineapple, that's how you know it's perfect, is when it plucks just like an eyebrow. So there's your lesson. I won't tell you about how I taught my son to pick an avocado.
No, it had something to do with feeling something else. Don't go there, honey. Not today. Feeling things. But Nate, anything else you want to tell us about your trip now? After you get through at the Superior of the Lakes, is what next?
I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna have no signal, so people won't hear from me. Nobody freak out. I'm probably just safe. Then I'm gonna head south, and I think I've got 1 week booked in Central Michigan, and then I'm heading south towards my sister in Tennessee. And I'll basically stay there for the month of November, and then who knows? Then I got to figure it out.
Okay, if you can.
My brother, do you happen to have a booster on your vehicle?
John, we only have about 2 more minutes before we go.
I just wanted to ask him a question.
Okay.
Do you have a booster on your vehicle?
I bought one. I have one available now. Yes.
Now, are you planning to? Which model did you buy?
I don't know, but I think they're trying to wrap up the show, John.
Yeah, John, we'll save it for another one. There is something though. I just want to say, first off, thank you both for being here, and everybody else that's out there. You guys have been great, and I hope you like the show format. But always feel free to give us comments below, and we appreciate all the likes, comments, and watch some of our other shows so we know what to do in the future. But stay tuned when we get back from Lake Sonoma. I think Grace is gonna. Here's the thing. She competes with me, man. I'm like, oh, give me a week or two, I'll get a bit. I'm going to do it myself now. She's got the tools. So thank you, honey, for all that you do for our audience.
Wrap up with the question that we had for Nate a while back. I didn't want to ignore that. Rose asked if you were able to go on the vineyard and the wines.
I didn't. Mackinac Island, I mean, it's a 8-mile perimeter island, so it's a small island right off in the Mackinac Straits. It's got a ton of stuff to do. 2 golf courses, its own airport. I didn't even know there was a vineyard there, to be honest, if that's what she's referring to.
Yeah, it's hard to do everything. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and close it.
Yeah, be sure to go by on the Gina's site, and I know if we've got a link there for that, but Van Life with Gina is for sure. And Nate, Land Cloud Adventures, and John, thank you all for being here and making it another fun Saturday show. So, as always, happy trails to you. Until we meet again,
and as
peace out.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Take care, Nate. Yeah, bye-bye.